With all of the recent drama with Eufy over the last few weeks, I have been asked the question a lot on what camera I recommend other than a Eufy camera. I want something that has local storage that only I can access and no access to the cloud. Well, I had a lot of people recommend the Argus 3 Pro by Reolink. So I thought in today's video, we would compare these two cameras together. I have got the EufyCam 2C Pro, this is their 2K camera, and then we've also got the Argus 3 Pro, also a 2K camera. We'll be doing a side-by-side comparison looking at features, video quality, and audio quality. So with that said, let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So we're gonna be taking a look at two 2K cameras here to see which one might be a better option for you. First, we're gonna be taking a look at the Eufy 2C Pro. This is a 2K camera version. If you are not aware, Eufy got in some trouble recently by advertising that their camera footage is stored locally in your house and has no connection with the cloud whatsoever, and that turned out not to be true at all. You guys can do your own research on that. I'm not going to talk any more about that, but I had a lot of people asking what's a good alternative camera. We're taking a look at the Argus 3 Pro. This is from Reolink. Very similar looking cameras right here, both 2K cameras, both battery powered, both have spotlights on it. So very good comparison between these two cameras right here. At least I think we're kind of comparing apples to apples in this scenario. Now, there are a couple of key differences with these two. First, I want to talk about the hardware and the price. Okay, so here's the hardware breakdown that we're going to do with this configuration. I want a 2K camera, I want a solar panel, and I want obviously a way to record that. With Reolink, here is what we have. We're going to take a look at the Amazon website. Now, I do want to mention too, because it's kind of around Christmas time, there are lots of sales going on. We are not going to look at the sales for this breakdown. We're just going to look at the actual MSRP for each of these right here. So if we take a look at Amazon, we can see that we can get a Reolink 2K camera, comes with a solar panel for $150. We're going to ignore the coupon code below it. So $150 for this camera, 2K camera, and solar panel. Next up, we need a way for recording. So for that, I need an SD card. We're looking at this micro SD card, which is, let's see, $11.50. So we're at $162 for this setup right here. That is going to be the camera, the solar panel, and a way to record, $162. Now, let's take a look at what Eufy's breakdown is. We're taking a look. Here is the EufyCam 2C Pro. Now, for each of these cameras, they have a Pro and non-Pro version. The non-Pro versions are 1080p. The Pro versions for both of these are going to be the 2K. So here is the 2K version right here. The list price is $150 just for this camera. Now, if we take a look, you do need a base station. This is how Eufy records all of its stuff. It's not going to be on the camera itself. It's going to be stored on this base station right here. This base station is $100 retail, and it has 16 gigs of local storage inside. So 16 gigs as compared to the 32 gigs we're looking at that we're going to buy for Reolink. So we got 16 gigs in this base station right here. That brings us up to $250 for Eufy. And then we need the solar panel, which is going to be another $60 for the solar panel. So what does that bring us to? $310. So comparing these systems, we've got a system for a, what did I say, 162, or we've got Eufy for $310. So right out of the gate, comparing hardware and prices, Reolink is going to take the win for this one. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to take a look at these cameras a little more closely. All right, so here is a side-by-side comparison of the two cameras right here. We can see the spotlights for each of them. Obviously, this one is much bigger, and I gotta say is much brighter. We've got our 2K image sensors for both of these guys right here. Both of these have motion sensors down below that, so pretty similar up front. If we take a look at the top, we've got a sync button here. Flip it over to the back. I'm gonna cover up my QR code right here. We have got our solar panel, or you can actually plug in a cable to get this guy charged up. We've got our speaker and a 1/4-20 mount. On the Eufy camera, we have just got our mount back here. Now, taking a look at the bottom of the camera right here, we've got a couple of different options. With Eufy, we've got our speaker here and our charging port here. So either you're going to be plugging in your solar panel or your power cable to get this thing all charged up. If we take a look at Reolink, down here is where you're going to be putting in your micro SD card. This is what you're going to use to save all of your footage. So it is going to be stored locally on this camera right here. So do keep that in mind. Put this in a spot where it is not easily grabbable. And then we've got our on-off power right here. But that is a comparison looking at the hardware for both of these cameras. Okay, now before we take a look at the demos of these cameras, I wanted to just quickly look at the app. Now this could be an entire video all to itself, so I'm just gonna quickly go over each app. First, I wanna start out with Eufy. If you take a look, here is what the Eufy app looks like. We have all of our cameras broken down here. You can take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and click play on the top one right here, and it's gonna bring up a live view of the camera. Taking a look, we've got some options down below that for two-way talk, recording, clips, different things like that. We've also got those dashes, which will bring up some more options for us. We've got a quick link for our spotlight if we want to hit on that little flashlight icon, and then let's go into settings and take a look. So here are the different settings, lots of different options that you can go through, you can dive deeper into. So we've got like video settings, different things like that. And if we back out of here, let's go all the way back here to the home screen again. Taking a look at the bottom, we can see our different events. We've got something called Edge. We've got security, different things so we can go through and kind of see all of our different clips. So if we do bring up, let's bring up a clip right here. So it's going to show us the person walking by. We see the clip going through. Once the person goes out of the clip, it's going to go ahead and stop recording. We've got download, share, donate, different options like that for viewing our clips. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Reolink. All right, so here is the Reolink app. Pretty similar look. We've got our cameras all broken down right here. Now these do say not connected, but all you have to do is tap on them. It'll reconnect to those cameras that I have set up. Here's the one that you see in the backyard. If we take a look up at the top where those tabs are, we've got camera, we've got cloud, we've got IoT. So both of these cameras do offer cloud storage. That is an additional fee, so do keep that in mind. But if we take a look at the Reolink camera on top, I'm gonna go ahead and tap on it. We're gonna bring up a live view of that camera. We've got very similar options right below this image right here for pausing, taking pictures, being able to view the camera in its 2K streaming, or we can actually drop it down. So it says, hi, I can go to fluent. It's going to drop down the quality, which is going to give us a faster stream to see what is going on. Now, above this image right here, we've got an icon for the siren, the flashlight, and then a cool one right here. If I go ahead and tap on this icon right here and then click on the 4, it's actually going to bring up all of my Reolink cameras to watch at the same time. So I thought that was pretty cool. You can actually turn it on the side to get a bigger image of what those cameras will look like. So pretty cool option right there with Reolink that I did not see with Eufy. So let's go ahead and go back just to the single view right here. If we take a look below down at the bottom, we've got the option for two-way talk, clips, and playback. If I click on the playback here, it's going to bring up the events this camera has recorded. Not only can we see each of them, which they're kind of small, I wish they were a little bit bigger, but we've got a timeline down below where I can scrub through this timeline to get to a specific point where I can see where an actual event is recorded. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna cancel out of this, and at the very top right corner is that gear icon. I'm gonna tap on that to get into the settings. So here are all the different settings for our camera. We're gonna see a lot more different options that we saw with Eufy. So you can scrub through, you can go to camera recording, we've got display, so you can click on that to go through and really pick the details that you want with your camera. From here, we can actually adjust our timestamps and different things. We can put them in different corners. So look down here, camera name and date. You can actually put that in any area that you want to, so you can customize that. So some pretty cool customizable options that you can do with this camera that you're not able to do with Eufy. All right, so that is a quick overview of both of their apps. I gotta say, I like the customization that we are getting with Reolink. It really dives down deep into some of those settings there. Now, as far as the Eufy app goes, I gotta say I like it. To me, it's a little bit more polished. It's a little more aesthetically pleasing to look at and go through the different settings there. But if we're comparing the way the app looks to compare the way it functions and the customality of Reolink, you know, I gotta say it's kind of a toss-up. So as far as the app goes, I'm gonna give it a tie. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at some demos with this camera. Take a look at the video and also the audio quality. All right, let's take a look at these cameras and see how they stack up against each other. We're taking a look at not only the video aspect, but the audio. I'm about 6 feet away from these cameras right now. I'm gonna go all the way back to the gate, which is about 35 feet, and we'll take a look and see what it looks like and what it sounds like. So here I am at about 20, 25 feet right here, and then this is all the way back here 35 feet. So just to give you an idea of what these cameras can look and sound like from those different distances. But now that we've taken a look at what these cameras look like during the daytime, let's take a look at some night shots with these. All right, it is a pitch black out here. I see 6 infrared lights on this camera right now. I don't want to get too close because they don't work too well if you're too close, and nobody's going to get that close anyway. I am about 7-8 feet away from the camera, as you can see. I'm going to walk back to the gate. Let's test it out, see what it looks like. Okay, so that is what the camera looks like with no spotlight on. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the Eufy camera looks like with no spotlight. All right, now we're taking a look at the Eufy. I see 8 infrared lights there up at the top. This is what the comparison looks like with the Eufy now. Let's go ahead and take a walk back and see what it looks like. All right, so that is what the camera looks like with Eufy. No spotlight on. Let's go ahead and turn on that spotlight and see how bright this camera can get. All right, here is what the Eufy camera looks like with that spotlight on. I see 2 little dots on there, not too bright. Let's go ahead and take a walk back and see what it looks like. All right, so now that we know what the camera looks like with these spotlights on right here, let's take a look at Reolink and its spotlights. Wow, that light is so bright. This one is double, if not triple, as bright as the Eufy one. You can barely even see what's going on right now, but let's go ahead and take a look all the way back and see what it looks like. All right, so that is a demo of what the Reolink camera can do with this amazing spotlight on. This thing is lighting up my entire backyard. All right, well, there is the comparison between the 2 cameras. I gotta say that I was pretty impressed with Reolink. The image looked good, the colors to me seemed true to what they should be. Now, when I looked at Eufy, it was a little bit washed out. So even though the image quality was good, the image itself was a little washed out. Now, the HDR on the Eufy was a little bit better. If you notice, the sky in the background looked better, but to be honest, for a security camera, I don't care what the sky looks like. I want the image itself to look good. If we also take a look at the Eufy camera, it's got a bigger field of view. So you notice that you probably saw more on the sides and the top and the bottom than you did with the Reolink. Now, when it came to audio, when I was up closer to the camera, Reolink to me sounded way better than the Eufy did. However, when I got farther away from the camera, when I got all the way back to the gate around that 35-foot mark, it was a bit harder to hear me with the Reolink compared to the Eufy. Eufy sounded a little bit tinny to me, but it was more consistent going all the way through from, 6 feet all the way to 35 feet than it was for the Reolink camera. Now, when it came to night shots, I was actually pretty interested to see the outcome. With the spotlight off, Eufy seemed to perform a little bit better by having just a brighter image. But once we got back to that gate, to that 35-foot mark, the Eufy image got really dull and blurry. It got harder to see from further away, where I felt like Reolink was better at farther away. And once I got back closer to the cameras, it's kind of blown out again by Reolink. It did adjust, but I felt like Eufy did a better job closer up, where Reolink did a better job further away without those spotlights. Now, when you take a look at that spotlight, my goodness, the spotlight on that Reolink camera is insane. Now, I was completely washed out in that footage, but in Reolink's defense, I was about 6 feet away from that camera. I would say typically a person is not going to be 6 feet away from that camera completely washed out. That spotlight is definitely for people who are going to be farther away from that, which is probably more likely what you would experience in a real world situation. Now, if we take a look at me walking all the way back, I gotta say when I walked all the way back with Eufy, couldn't see me as well with that spotlight on, but man, with that Reolink, it was bright. It lit up my entire yard. definitely a good security addition to maybe spook people away. Well, I gotta say, comparing these two cameras, I would go with the Reolink camera. It's much more affordable. You're getting it at about half the price. It's got a great spotlight on it. The only thing that I am not a big fan of with Reolink is that you are putting an SD card into the camera and it is being saved locally to that camera. Meaning if somebody comes and takes that camera, they are taking the footage with them. That is where something that Eufy has a better advantage on, is that you are restoring your clips locally in the house on that base station and apparently to the cloud and everything else too. Like I said, a bunch of drama that I'm not gonna go into with Eufy cameras right now. So if you like having all of your footage in your hands for only view to view, then Reolink is probably gonna be the way to go. But obviously you guys see at the demos, you can be the judge for yourself. Let me know in the comments which one you liked better and why. Also, if there are other security cameras that you want to see me compare to each other, let me know in the comments below. I am always looking for recommendations. If this video is helpful, give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. As always, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.